Okay, so it's actually been a while since I've managed to get one of these videos up, like, on time. Okay, so this weekend saw the release of The Nun, American Animals, and Puzzle in my local cinema. Of course, there was also The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which I wanted to watch that. I'll wait till DVD or Blu-ray, but it's just, you know what, it's fine. I didn't get to see it. I don't care. I'll find a way to watch it. But yeah, the film. What was I saying? Yeah, the film's released this weekend. The first one I watched was American Animals. Now, this weekend sort of it declined in quality because the first film I watched, American Animals, is in my top 5 this year. It is one of the best films this year, and honestly, guys, you need to go check this out. It's shot not just sort of like by the numbers based on a true story. It's also shot like a documentary, and it just feels so unique, so refreshing to see this really engaging plot with the true story and the actual people included the in the film, and it works really well. It just elevates the film to a whole nother level. I also loved all of the performances. Everyone was amazing. Evan Peters was great as the protagonist. Or no, yeah, the main character Spencer. And that's to be fair, that's all I know about the cast. I don't actually look into the casts of some films, but yeah. So he was amazing. The guy who played Warren was really good, and yeah, this film just it is one of the most nerve-wracking cinematic experiences I've ever felt. It is so tense. It is amazing. Definitely recommend everybody go and watch this film. This film gets 9.9, not 9.9, sorry, 9.8 out of 10. I do feel like the pace could have been tightened up towards the end, and some of the other characters, I think Eric and Chaz, could have gotten a little bit more to do. But yeah, this film is still one of my favourites this year. The next film on this list is one that actually it's weird because this film is a puzzle. It's actually a puzzling experience because on the one hand, it was one of the best directed, best like shot, is one of the best uh like some of the best dialogue. It is truly an amazing film in every aspect apart from two of the most important things, the story and the pacing. Like, all of the performances are amazing, but they just didn't keep me captivated because the story being told was, yeah, it had promise. It just didn't go all the way. Like, it felt kind of tame, like nothing really ever picked up. Nothing got to an intense, dramatic level, which, yeah, it really ruined the film. If the film sort of had more to do. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's late. It's like 11 o'clock. But anyway, if the film sort of had more to do, like there was emotional moments, but it felt too subdued. Maybe if the film had more of an outburst at one point, at least like one outburst, like we would like one more maybe. I don't know. The film didn't really do much story wise. The story just felt weak. Like, and I could predict almost every beat. Really it was really the biggest letdown of the film because it had some of the best directing. It had an amazing scene with very little dialogue, where the main character first discovered, well, no, yeah, where she first discovers where she first does a puzzle, and then there was also an amazing scene where the very beginning where she sets up her own birthday party, which really painted the picture. They've really set the scene. This film is more than extremely competently made. I would argue this is one of the best made films this year. It's just the story didn't grab me. There was a lot about it that just didn't grab me, and I don't know, it just let me down. And especially when it did set up such promise. The performances are all great, And I love that we sort of got this, like, we got two people that are clearly on the spectrum. Both, the main character and her puzzle partner. They both seem to be at least a little bit autistic or have Asperger's syndrome or something along that line. And I kind of love that. It really adds to the film than if she was just a normal person. Like, I'm obviously not trying to say people with Asperger's or autism are not normal, otherwise I would not be normal, but it's just, yeah, I hope you guys get what I mean. But yeah, the film just has so much potential, but really falls under a very slow pacing, very mediocre story, and an ending which I honestly hated. Like, the film was dragging. Sorry. And yet so much felt unresolved. Like, there were just plot threads that didn't really get solved. The film, ultimately I liked it, but it's not going to be one I rewatched. The film gets 7.4 out of 10. The next film that I saw this weekend, the last release, The Nun. This film has no character. Okay, I'm not saying the film has no characters. No, the film has characters. They're just bland. They're dull and uninteresting. The film feels like it could be a Scooby-Doo film with a lighter tone and less gore. It feels like it could be a Supernatural episode. It doesn't feel like a Conjuring film. Like, I'm a huge fan of the series. Like, I love... The first Conjuring is one of my favourite horror films of pretty much all time. The Conjuring is one of the best horror films ever made. And yet, we just have... we have such a bland film in this spin-off. Like, there is... I think the most characters are cool Easter egg. Like, it's just... No, the film doesn't work well at all. A lot of it feels just like there's no plot until sort of the second half of the film. Like, during the whole the whole second act, it just felt like there was nothing going on. Like, the demon would play a few tricks, we get a little bit of exposition, play a few tricks, rinse and repeat, until we got a second act climax, and then the climax. There was a side character which just got pretty much written out of the second act. The film just feels way too slow, with almost nothing happening, and the acting is good. Oh, bugger, not mean to drop my phone, but the acting is good. The acting is really solid. I just couldn't get behind any of the characters. The storytelling felt so haphazard. Like, they'd have this bit of exposition, then have it pay off the next scene. Like, no, give it some more time to dwell. And the film just throws jump scares at you, doesn't build any suspense for the jump scares. We know when the jump scares are coming. It is so predictable, so easy, and it's slow and boring. Honestly, there is a slight chance I'll have to rewatch this film. And I feel like I will sleep. I will sleep through this film. Like, I wasn't tired when I left the house to go watch this film today. I wasn't tired when I ate KFC beforehand. I was ridiculously tired. Like, third time watching Avengers, and it was at 9 o'clock at night kind of tired. Like, my eyes were struggling to stay open. And yet, this film just... it's boring. And also, the way it ties into the Conjuring films is a brief recap of some events in The Conjuring 2 during the first... Like, it opens with it. And then, at the end, it re-shows a scene from another film. Just... not even edited differently. Like, I say not even edited differently. There's a shot from the original film that doesn't make sense in this film. And yet, they just leave it in. And they re-edit it to hammer home a point. And that point also creates plot holes with The Conjuring 2. Which, this film does not but when I say plot holes, I don't mean like, oh, why didn't the character do this or why didn't the character do that. I mean, it sets up something within its world and then goes back on it. So yeah, the film, without getting into spoilers, the film really just feels like a by the numbers horror film that doesn't have any character. Even bad films like Winchester at least had the character of, oh, we're based on a true story horror film set in this house that has really weird architecture. Yeah, like, that was interesting. The imagery in that film is at least more interesting because of the interesting setting. This film, like, yeah, the setting's not horrible, but it feels bland, it feels characterless. And the film also feels totally confused where it tries to be a comedy, and I'm going to stop. This isn't one of the worst films this year. I can act like it is. I think it's one of the worst horror films. It's one of the worst theatrical horror films I've seen, but I think there's like two below it. That's all I can think of as in terms of horror films below this. There's like three maybe. Like, it's in the top 5 worst theatrical releases in terms of horror this year, but nowhere near the bottom of the list. This film gets a 5.9 out of 10. There's nothing special about it. I mean, I can get why other people enjoy it, which is kind of what gives it props for me. And I sort of do give it a little bit more leeway. It's horror, and it does have actually some pretty cool imagery. I'll give it that. But like in one scene, kinda. But the film just shows so much potential. Like, I feel like if I was to have directed this, there were a few things I would have done differently. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe. I'm gonna start ranking the films. I don't know if I did this last time. I think I did this last week. But my ranking for these films goes American Animals at number 1, Puzzle at number 2, The Nun at number 3, and all the rest of them in, actually. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.